Hi fellow booktubers, as promised here's the next video where I will be describing, not describing but reading the synopsis of the books that I showed in my previous video. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first book is PC and Kirsten Cast's Dragon's Oath. It's a new book, it was released in 2011 and this is the first in a new series of books, and it's the House of Night novella. So I'm not sure whether you have to read all the House of Nights before you read this, but I'll read the back anyway. If it does contain spoilers, I do apologise, I haven't actually finished the House of Night series yet. So here's the back. Dragon Langford wasn't always an instructor at the House of Night. Once he was a student, young, talented and in love. But the mistake that cost him everything might be the key to helping Zoe and the rest of the vampires in their fight against darkness. So that sounds really, really good. And what I like about this is that it actually comes, if I can get this in a shot, it actually comes with illustrations. And they are some of the most awesomest illustrations I've ever seen. They're all hand drawn and they're really, really good. And the whole book has these in. So that's Dragon's Oath by PC and Kirsten Cast. The next book, Wish Me Dead by Helen Grant. And this is the synopsis. I never even meant for the first one. Now I bitterly regret visiting the cursed witch's house deep in the middle of the forest. It's where I made my wishes. I wished Clara Klein dead. It came true. I wished for the most gorgeous boy in town to finally notice me. It came true. I wished to be rid of the poisonous busybody who destroyed my family. It came true. I didn't mean for this to happen. Not me, Steffi Nett, the shy one, who never says anything. But as the body count increases, with every mistake I make, who else could it be? So again, this sounds really good. Although I've never heard of Helen Grant, but she apparently did another book. But I'm not sure, another two books. I'm not sure if they are part of a series or anything. So if you've ever read any of hers, please leave a comment below, because I would like to know more about her. So that's Wish Me Dead by Helen Grant. The next one, an old book, as I said before, 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. So this is what it says. If your free-spirited aunt left you 13 blue envelopes, would you follow the instructions? Would you travel around the world? Would you open the envelopes one by one? Inside envelope 1 is money and instructions to buy a plane ticket. Inside envelope 2 are directions to a specific London flat. Inside envelope 3 tells Ginny, find a starving artist. Because of envelope 4, Ginny and a playwright, thief, man about town called Keith go to Scotland together, with disastrous, though really romantic results. But will she ever see him again? So, I've not read this at all. I've heard about it, I've never read it. So if anyone's read this, please comment below and tell me what you think, because I'm always looking for new books to read. So 13 Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. The next one, Jenny Downham, You Against Me. And this is what it says. If someone hurts your sister, you seek revenge, right? When Mikey's young sister claims a boy assaulted her, his world begins to fall apart. If your brother is accused of a terrible crime, you defend him, don't you? When Ellie's brother is charged with the offence, her world starts to unravel. When Mikey and Ellie meet, two worlds collide. So again, it sounds really good. I really liked her first book, which is Here, Before I Die. I really enjoyed that one. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. If anyone has read it, what did you think to it? I've not read reviews about this or anything, so, feel free to comment. So, Jenny Downham, You Against Me. The next book, Kiss of Death by Malcolm Rose. I was more intrigued with this by the cover. So this is what it says. On a school trip to the plague village of Aim, Seth is moved by the story of how villagers sacrificed their lives to the dreaded Black Death. Kim and Wes are more interested in what they see at the bottom of the wishing well: money. But when they snatch the coins, they also pick up something they hadn't bargained for, and as the hideous consequences of their theft catch up with them all, Seth is forced to face a terrifying truth. Has Aim's plague-ridden past resurfaced to seek revenge? So, Kiss of Death, Malcolm Rose. Next, Pretty Dead by Francesca Lia Block. And this says, which probably everyone knows what this says, but for anyone who hasn't heard of this, what this says. Something is happening to Charlotte Emerson. Like the fires that are ravaging the hills of LA, it consumes her from the inside out. Something to do with the tear in her inevitable perfect nails, the way she feels when she's with brooding, magnetic Jared, the blood rushing once again to her cheeks and throughout her veins. For Charlotte is a vampire, witness to almost a century's worth of death and destruction, but not since she was a human girl has mortality touched her. Until now. So, Pretty Dead by Francesca Lia Block. And now we're on to the adult fictions. And the first one is Outrage. And I apologise if I completely destroy this name, but I think it's pronounced Aunda in Ridiason. This is a Icelandic author, and this is what it says. Which I'm going to have to read the inside of the cover, so I apologise. In a flat near Reykjavik city centre, a young man lies dead in a pool of blood. There is no sign of a break-in. The only clues to a woman's purple shawl found under the bed in the next room, and a vial of prescription drugs in the victim's pocket. I'm still here, by the way. When Detective Irunda, away in a remote part of Iceland, Detective Illenborg, who is already struggling to juggle family life and the relentless demands of her job, is assigned the case. Her investigation into the murdered man's past soon uncovers a squalid tale of double lives, drug dealers, and the unsolved disappearance of a young girl many years before. So, again, that sounds really good. I'm not a big crime reader, so I'm trying out different books by different authors. So, Outrage by... I'm not even going to pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But I think I butchered it the last time. The next one is Missing Julia by Catherine Dunn. And this says, one morning in October, William Harris is confronted by the shocking disappearance of the woman he loves. Julia Seymour has vanished without trace. From his life, from her daughters, and from her own. Her sudden departure seems to be both deliberate and final, but William is determined to find her. In the days that follow, he tries to piece together what might have driven her away. His search takes him to London, to India, and to Julia's life before he met her. In the process, William discovers secrets about Julia's past that challenge and disturb his view of all they shared together. Secrets that illuminate the past in ways he could never have expected. So that's Missing Julia by Catherine Dunn. Not the greatest of front covers, but it does sound really interesting. Then the next one is Camilla Lackberg, and this is The Hidden Child. It was featured on the Channel 4, the TV Book Club, which is a show in the UK that they run every year. This is a Scandinavian crime writer, and this is the back. Crime writer Erika Falk is shocked to discover an old Nazi medal among her late mother's belongings. Inspired to dig deep into her past, she revisits a retired history teacher for answers. 2 days later, he's dead. Detective Patrick Hedstrom is on paternity leave, but his wife's inquiries appear to have set off a chain of murders, and he's finding it hard to keep out of the investigation. A terrible secret from the darkest days of World War II is coming to light, and their family's histories are right at the heart of it. So I really like the sound of this. Again, it's a crime novel, so hopefully it is as good as it sounds. So that's Camilla Lackberg, The Hidden Child. And then another one that was featured on the TV book club is The Lantern by Deborah Lorenzen. And this says, and you have to excuse me because most of this is in French, so bear with me. When Eve falls for the charming, seductive Dom, their whirlwind romance leads them to Les Granvillers, a run-down yet beautiful house in the south of France. But as summer fades to autumn, Eve finds it impossible to ignore the mysteries the house seems to be hiding, not least the strange disappearance of Dom's beautiful first wife, and what is the connection to a young girl who lived in the house decades before. As Les Granvillers' tangled history begins to unravel and Dom grows increasingly distant, Eve must discover the secrets of the past before history has a chance to repeat itself. So again, that sounds like a crime novel to me. It sounds really good. I'm intrigued by the front cover. So we'll see. Hopefully will be as good as it sounds. Bear with me 1 minute when I just disappear. And the next book is Gerald Seymour's A Deniable Truth. Again, it's on the inside, so bear with me. Danny Badger Baxter has a talent for surveillance, but now Badger has a bigger job than photographing despondent Republicans in muddy Ulster fields or Islamic extremists on rain-swept Yorkshire moors. MI6 have a plan to assassinate the engineer, a brilliant maker of improvised explosive devices, the roadside bombs which account for 80% of British casualties in Iraq and Afghanistan. I will try and keep the cover in shot if I can. The spooks know he is planning to leave his home in Iran. They just need to find out when and where he is travelling. So Badger finds himself on the wrong side of the Iranian border, lumbered with a partner he loathes, lying under a merciless sun in a mosquito-infested marsh, observing the house, and knowing that if they are caught, Her Majesty's government will deny all knowledge of them. So, a bit of a spy espionage sort of book, really. So that's Gerald Seymour, A Deniable Death. And the book I'm reading at the moment, which I'm that far through, and absolutely loving this book. It's Mozart's Last Aria by Matt Rees. This is a historical crime novel, and this is what it says. The year is 1791, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is Enlightenment Vienna's big brightest star. Master of the city's music halls and devoted member of the Austrian Freemasons Guild, he stands at the heart of an electric mix of art and music, philosophy and science, politics and intrigue. 6 weeks ago, the great composer told his wife he had been poisoned. Yesterday, he died. The city is buzzing with rumours of infidelity, bankruptcy and murder, but Wolfgang's estranged sister, Nannerl, returned from the provinces to investigate his death, would not believe the gossip. Who but a madman would poison such genius? Yet, as she looks closely at what her brother left behind, a handwritten score, a scrap of paper from his journal, Nannerl finds traces of something sinister, the threads of Masonic conspiracy that reach from the gilded ballrooms of Viennese society to the faceless officers of the Parisian secret service. I do apologise, I haven't got my glasses on, so this is really difficult. Only when watching Wolfgang's bewitching opera, The Magic Flute, does Nannerl truly understand her beloved brother once again, for encoded in his final arias, she detects a subtly crafted blueprint for a radical new tomorrow. Mozart hoped this would determine his future. Did it seal his fate instead? So, Mozart's Last Aria by Matt Rees, and it is really, really good. As I said, I'm that far through, trying to get it so that the light doesn't reflect. There we are. I'm about that far through, so I'm just coming up to halfway through. And yeah, it's really good. Sorry, this is really difficult to try and get all of there, all of this is shot. So that's Mozart's Last Aria by Matt Rees. So I'm slightly over, so I apologise, and thank you for watching. You've been watching World of Book Reviews.